Hi everyone, it's Morgan. For today's video, I've compiled highlights for my remaining Blueprince demo footage. I keep finding more and more things in this demo that I definitely want to explore further, but also reaching the point where it might just be best to wait patiently for the full release. So that we can finally put all of those discoveries and knowledge to use together instead of bits and pieces across short runs. In the meantime, I'll be posting videos from other games, but for now, enjoy all my new findings here. First of all, I have finally found the boiler room, which someone already mentioned to me. It is a power source room that requires a bit of a setup and a puzzle to get up and running. I'm hoping that in the full game, once you've activated it, it remains in that state for the rest of the run, so we don't have to do this every time. As we first get in, we can't even access the boiler controls and instead have to turn on a few tanks and redirect pipes to get the steam flowing to different pieces of equipment across the room. Slowly but surely, opening a path for us and then sending all the steam up to the boiler to activate it. However, getting the boiler up and running is not the end of the work. It doesn't just power the whole house and everything in it automatically. Instead, there appear to be 3 output routes, one for each door, and only one of them can be powered at a time. Further on, it seems that this needs to be connected across the rooms until it reaches the desired target. The power seems to travel along those vent ducts that can be seen above the boiler and then coming into the machine in the lab I've been trying to power on for so long. I've seen those pipes in few rooms, but not all and definitely not even most of them, so we would have to be quite specific and lucky in our drafts for this even to work. Hence why I'm thinking we need more time and we need more days to really get that going. We know that there are rooms that let us change rarity of things, like the conservatory we found, but however we were never able to use it either, so we don't know how that could be utilized in this case. Because this room is so rare, trying to push it across the 4 days just seems like it could get a little bit too frustrating, but hey, at least we have another thing to look forward to in the full game. Up next is a series of events that occur over 2 days of play. I thought I was rich before when I saved a little bit through the freezer, but this thing went to a whole another level. First of all, I decided on a root cellar from the outside room. I had my detector shovel stashed in the cloak room on day 1, so I was feeling good about this one. Now I was expecting this to mostly add dig spots into the rooms that already have them, but it turns out they can appear all over the place. There are also quite a few dig spots in the root cellar itself, but I've also been digging in the hallways, the spare room, the chapel. Thanks to the improved shovel, this spree has boosted my coins and key count quite a bit. To expand my digging adventure further, I have also been given a treasure map, and this time I was able to reach the marked spot on the blueprint. After making a huge hole in the floor, I've received 40 coins! But that is not all. Just a little bit later, the vault appears in my draft, giving me further 40 coins, plus a couple extra on the floor from the metal detector. To take this even further, I've also been able to draft the cloister and open up the central area where I gained 2 coins for allowance. And then at the end of the day, I have drafted the freezer, so I could take my riches with me to tomorrow. This has resulted in me getting the end day summary of Garden Excavation Site, with 6 green rooms and 29 dig spots on the map. A note about the freezer here, I was finally able to read the extra detail on the note in the lab, which specifies that the thawing does not affect the additional cooler in there. So we will need to find another means to get the hidden items in there when we get to it. Because of all this, the next day I started with 14 gems and 145 coins. I have purchased the entire contents of the commissary and also stocked up on keys at the locksmith. And I still had plenty left over. To top that up, I also drafted the vault on the second day. A new room I was also able to draft was the locker room, which it gets added to the draft once the pull is placed. This room spreads keys around the house, but it also contains a number of openable lockers. Because I was so stacked up on money and keys, I just got more than enough keys to open them all. so I can tell you that generally they can contain a handful of items such as gems, money, keys, and fruit. And one of them also had a treasure map, so I could believe other small special items could also be found in there. But unless you already have more keys that you know what to do with, opening them up is a bit of a gamble, as it can simply be empty as well. I do wonder if there's a way to better guarantee freezer on more days, because I had more resources I could use in a day, and being able to carry them forward is amazing. Now, I have mentioned the vault a few times, and you saw me dig up a few safety deposit box keys as well. Well, this is where they go. There are hundreds of boxes in the room, and I do not know how many you can open, but I was able to get into 3 of them. They contain more money and also allowance tokens, but each one also had a red passport. Each of the passports had a picture of our mother in it, but each was issued for a different fake name. Was our mother a spy? One of them is even marked as compromised, so she was definitely up to something. As a bonus, the vault also has a current date display, so if you couldn't get this information from earlier clues, this one is the direct way to confirm it. And to dig further into the secrets, I have opened 2 more safes. First of all, the office. We have been there a few times and even attempted to use the clues already in there to open it, but no luck. However, this time I was able to visit the foyer. It's mostly just a big hallway, but it has statues of 6 people in it, apparently all in some way related to the Sinclair family, which is interesting as it also includes who I assume is a queen. But now the Sinclairs don't seem to be too keen on the current royal family. Anyway, who are we actually looking for is our friend here, dude with spiky hair that kinda look like horns, because his name is Count Isaac Gates. And as we recall from the safe cracking clue, we need to be counting small gates. Looking back to the office, we have 1, 2, 3 of them. Is this 4th large one that has thrown us off the last time? Putting that together with the clue for March, the safe is open. There's quite a long letter here from an anonymous party. Dear Mr. Sinclair, thank you for promptly answering all our demands, not involving the police, and allowing this unfortunate transaction to transpire as smoothly as one could hope. And while I'm guessing you had hoped to never hear from us again once we had given you back the envelopes, we felt that one final red letter of our own was merited given the circumstance. Hopefully you will not be as careless with this missive as you were with the others. Correspondences this incriminating should be kept in safes, not in desk drawers. Let's first put your apprehensions at ease. I am sure another red envelope is the last thing you expected to find on your desk this week. No, we are not making more demands, and no, we do not have copies of the other letters. You are already more than generous and accommodating, and the least we can do is fulfill our end of the bargain. So why write to you at all? Why incriminate ourselves further if we already have what we want? In a word, principles. After reading your eloquent reply to our initial note, it became apparent to us that there have been a few misunderstandings. This letter is intended to clarify some of those points and hopefully will place our schemes in a softer light. First, we may have gotten too excited with the colorful language of blackmail, but our goal was never to terrorize. Despite what you may believe, you interpreted as thinly veiled threats towards your young nephew, I want to personally assure you there were never any tangible danger. If we gave any impression we would hurt the youngster, it was meant only in a very vague sense of hurting his social prospects. And yes, while we admit that our word choices might be questionable, enough so that it would be reasonable to accuse us of being intentionally misleading, we hope you believe us when we tell you that there was not a calculated ploy to elicit payment. However, as payment has been received, there is nothing to be gained from scrutinizing the questionable ethics that were employed in our extortion of those funds. Little defense can be mustered on that score. Additionally, Any judgmental tone you may have detected when we discussed the contents of your stolen letters was entirely unintended. We want it on record that we do not consider ourselves superior to you and your family in any way, and are in fact entirely sympathetic to the underlying cause that the letter pertained to. And you thought this letter couldn't get any more incriminating for us. Again, we feel guilty as sin, and only time will tell if the financial recompense will outweigh our culpability. Even though you will never hear from us again, we hope this parting letter will result in your thinking of us and our dealings, if not favorably, at least sympathetically. Sorry for the inconvenience. Forever Anonymous, X. I initially assumed this is further correspondence from the children of Blackwater, as they do mention their cause and that they want Herbert to be sympathetic towards them. However, I'm not quite sure saying that someone mistook your intentions as blackmail and still pocketing the money is going to make them like you very much. At the same time, I do find it interesting that this organization would specifically use red letters, since red seems to be the color associated with the rulers of the country that they seem to be conspiring against. However, it might just be leaning towards the general use of red as a symbol of something negative or threatening in the game, like the red rooms. The next safe I stumble upon is in the study. This room has an interesting effect as it allows you to use your gems like dice to re-roll your draft, up to 8 times. But inside of it, we also find very direct clues to the message needed for safe cracking. They introduce both the concept of word pairs being needed to find a specific letter, and then placing them on the blueprint plan to uncover the message. I'm actually happy I got that figured out before I came to this room, and seeing this is not a very common room, I assume the game is trying to give you plenty of time before revealing this to you fully. Now onto the safe. The clue here appears to be the chessboard with a single queen piece on it, as this piece is also seen right next to the safe. The queen is placed on D8, which conveniently sounds like date. And I spent some time pondering about this. I tried to make some links between D8, having 8 dates, value of a queen in chess, which I found that is 9 after looking it up, but this thought does not lead to anything. Instead, the date eventually turns out to be December 8th. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, but I guess it's hard to squeeze so many meanings into one sentence clue, so some of them will be deeper than others. I think that brings us up to 4 safes cracked, plus the one gate also mentioned in the clue. Inside the safe, there's a short letter. December 8th, M. Be prepared for our plans to be set in motion in a month or 2. It's all lining up and all our hard work is about to come to fruition. I have just learned that several members of the museum's guard are sympathetic to our cause. We suspect 2 to be pure opportunists whose loyalty extends only to their coin purse. Your uncle has already agreed to let us use Mount Holly's flexible floor plan for a trial run, assuming the red print we have secured of the museum's closed exhibit is in fact accurate and up to date. We should begin these trials without delay once you arrive. If you can within the next 2 months fabricate some fiction that may alleviate us of the presence of the servant staff, until we meet on that shore of white sands. Caleb. And another secret floor plan, this time for a closed exhibit, which basically reveals that the mansion was used to plan the heist in which the royal crown was stolen. Now, looking back to the blackmail letter, this either happened after he helped them with the heist, or he really did warm up to them, maybe after finding out how much his niece was really involved, or that letter was from someone completely different. This letter here mentions some guards assisting them either for cause or for bribe, so there might be some other parties involved here that also try to operate in secret. I was also able to make 2 new combined items, dowsing rod and a burning glass. The dowsing rod, made of shovel and compass, activates while drafting and points to rooms that may contain more items. This seems quite similar to the metal detector, but it can result in any kind of item and not just keys and coins. However, you lose the shovel and compass function. The burning glass has a wholly new unique function. It can light candles and fuses. Now, I have seen plenty of candles in this house, but no fuses. However, with the mention of mining in various areas of the manor, this might be where it comes to play. I have done some running around to try different candles and have found 2 uses for this item. First, in the chapel, it can be used to light 2 candles on the side of the altar. This reveals the cutest little keeper of tithes, which is apparently where all our money donated to the chapel has been going. We can break him apart to retrieve it, but this can only be done once in a run. I immediately feel so guilty after doing it, as he's absolutely smashed to pieces, the poor little guy! However, this gives me another route to save money for later. Chapel is a quite common room, so if you have steps and coins left at the end of the day, you can't just run in and out to increase your donations if other means like the freezer are not available. However, you will have to wait until you've got this item and can retrieve the money. I also remember the dark tunnel under the house, and it turns out you can light the torches present there. There's another note about mining operations dating quite way back to the past. But there is also a secret floor plan here for the tunnel. Unfortunately, both those secret floor plans were added to my pool at the end of day 4, bringing it back to the point of needing the full game to really explore. Considering you need a combination of specific items and rooms to access all of this, doing this in a limited demo would be tiresome. However, I can say this leaves me extremely excited for this whole game, even when I already put hours into the demo. I'm already full of anticipations for capitalizing on this knowledge across longer runs, as well as finding all the new things that aren't even available here. This will be it for me in the Blueprince demo, I think, but there will be so much more when the full game is finally out in spring this year. See you soon on another adventure.